Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. This is subject of professional development, and this is second part of lecture number 22. And the topic in the previous lecture, that was Delphi method, and now we will take a recap of all those main points that we have discussed earlier. The outlines of the lectures were that introduction about the main topic and definition, history of the method, and characteristics, then application of Delphi method and how to use it, and then advantages and disadvantages of Delphi method. First of all, in recapitulation, the first point we will discuss that what is meant by Delphi method. The Delphi process aims to determine the extent to which experts or lay people agree about a given issue and with each other, and in areas where they disagree, achieve a consensus opinion. Delphi technique is usually conducted through questionnaires. Now we can take some examples like the Delphi technique is a group communication method where a panel of experts arrive at a consensus over a series of questions and discussions, and it is used for estimating, for forecasting. Then the question and discussions rounds begin and usually ends by the third or fourth round. So we can say that Delphi method is a forecasting process framework based on the results of multiple rounds of questionnaire sent to a panel of experts, and several rounds of questionnaires are sent out to the groups of experts, and the anonymous responses are aggregated and shared with the group after each round. The experts are allowed to adjust their answers in subsequent round based on how they interpret the group response that has been provided to them. And since multiple rounds of questions are asked and the panel is told what the group thinks as a whole, and the Delphi method seeks to reach the correct response through consensus. And if suppose I say that what is the difference between Delphi and nominal group techniques? So Delphi, we can say that this is a survey technique for decision making among isolated respondents, while the nominal group techniques is a highly controlled small group process for generation of ideas. And if we want to understand, so that is originally conceived in the 1950 by Olaf Halmer, and that we can consider the history of this Delphi method. That originally that is conceived in 1950s, and that was by Olaf Halmer and Norman Dahlke of the Rand Corporation, and the name refers to the oracle of Delphi, a priest or at a temple of Apollo in an ancient Greek known for her prophecies. So the Delphi method allows expert to work toward a mutual agreement by conducting a circulating series of questionnaires and releasing related feedback to further discussions with each subsequent round. The experts' responses shift as rounds are completed based on the information brought forth by other experts participating in the analysis. And if we say that who developed Rand, so Rand basically developed by the Delphi method in the 1950s, and that is originally forecast the impact of technology on warfare. Then there are some key characteristics that we have discussed, that how do we conduct the Delphi study. Remember that there are some steps that we can take while conducting this Delphi method. Like the step 1 is choose a facilitator, and this is the first step, to choose your facilitator. So the second step is identify your expert, that who is your expert. So this is at second stage where you have to identify your experts. Then at third stage you have to define your problems, and then at fourth round, then round 1 questions, and the fifth stage is round 2 questions, and then third is and so on. You can say 3 questions, 4 questions, and so on. And then at 7th step, act on your findings. And the next step is to find out the project, finding a project manager. So remember that Delphi has been widely used for business forecasting and has certain advantages over another structured forecasting approach, and especially in predictive markets. So Delphi is based on the principles that forecast from the structured group of individuals are more accurate than those from unstructured groups. Then, how does the Delphi method work? The Delphi method is a process used to arrive at the group opinion or decisions by surveying a panel of experts, and experts respond to the several rounds of questionnaires, and the responses are aggregated and shared with the group after each round. So different characteristics that we can take, like anonymity of the participants. Usually all participants remain anonymous. Their identity is not revealed even after the completion of final report. So this prevents the authority, personality, or reputation of the some participants from dominating others in the process. So arguably it also frees participants to some extent from their personal biases, minimizes the you can say halo effect, and allows free expression of opinions, and encourages open critique, and facilitates admission of errors when revising earlier judgments. The initial contribution from the experts are collected in the form of answers to the questionnaires, and their comments to these answers. So the panel director controls the interactions among the participants by processing the information and filtering out irrelevant content. So this avoids the negative effect of face-to-face panel discussions and solves the usual problems of group dynamics. Then there is a regular feedback, like the Delphi method allows participants to comment on the responses of others and the progress of the panel as a whole, and to revise their own forecast and opinions in real time. Then we have discussed about the role of facilitator. That what is the role of facilitator? The persons coordinating the Delphi method is usually known as facilitator or leader, and facilitates the responses of their panel of experts, who are selected for as a reason, usually that they hold knowledge on an opinion or view. The facilitator sends out questionnaires, survey, etc., and if the panel of experts accept, so they follow instructions and present their views. So responses are collected and analyzed, and then common and conflicting viewpoints are identified. And if consensus is not reached, then the process continues through thesis and antithesis to gradually work towards synthesis and building consensus. So during the past decades, facilitators have used many different measures and thresholds to measure the degree of consensus or dissent. So a comprehensive literature review and summary is compiled in different ways at different places in different journals also. So then we have discussed some application of Delphi method. That what is the applications of Delphi methods? First of all, the group facilitators select a group of experts based on the topic being examined, and once all participants are confirmed, so each member of the group is sent a questionnaire with the instructions to comment on each topic based on their personal opinions, experience, or previous research. So the questionnaires are returned to the facilitators, who groups the comments and prepares copies of the information. So a copy of compiled comments is sent to each participant along with the opportunity to comment further. And then at the end of each comment sessions, all questionnaires are returned to the facilitator, who decides if another round is necessary, or if the results are ready for publishing, then questionnaire rounds can be repeated as many times as necessary to achieve a general sense of consensus. Then we have discussed some advantages. So, the Delphi method seeks to aggregate opinion from the diverse set of experts, and it can be done without having to bring everyone together for a physical meeting. So, since the responses of the participants are anonymous, individual panelists don't have to worry about repercussions of their opinions, and consensus can be reached over time as opinion are swayed, making the method very effective. So, however, while the Delphi method allows for commentary from the diverse group of participants, it does not result in the same sort of interactions as a live discussion. So, live discussion can sometimes produce a better example of consensus as ideas and perceptions are introduced, broken down, and reassessed. So, response times with the Delphi method can be long, which slow the rate of discussion. So, it is also possible that the information received back from the experts will provide no innate value. When there are some advantages, so on the other hand there are some limitations also, there are a lack of clear methodological guidelines and continued commitment as required from participants who are being asked similar questions multiple times. So there is no evidence of the reliability, if two panels received the same question, they may not come to the same consensus. This was all about the main points that we had discussed in the previous lecture, and also now we have recapped. Take care, Allah Hafiz.